it's young, and it's just begun. As she puts her hand in mine, we wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. So loud as the hours pass, we're gonna do it all again. We wanna chase the night. Okay, I pressed the wrong button. Sorry about that. I'm a little bit late this morning. Usually go 30 minutes ago. I thought I had put this on mute. I don't know, I overslept. I woke up around 6:30, which is my usual time, but I felt like I could close my eyes and sleep for a few more minutes. Yeah, the few more minutes ended up being about 3 more hours. So I literally just got up. I didn't do my hair yet, didn't put my makeup on. And my coffee was just done 2 minutes ago. So I have to set up a few things before I'm actually ready 100%. I didn't share the live stream yet. Let me do that in my group chat at least. So we have a bunch of things organized for the next few days. I've been canning zucchinis. Good morning, Karen. There. I've been canning zucchinis like crazy. Plus, I've been busy helping out Scott. Well, he says I'm helping him out. I'm saying that he's actually helping me out. Long story short, Scott from Rambling with the Brooms, his mother-in-law lives about 20 minutes away from my place. And obviously he lives in Ontario. So the fact that his mother-in-law is moving into a different nursing home, all the furniture, basically everything she owns, she doesn't need it anymore. So Scott figured he was going to give me a call, asking me if I wanted some of that stuff. Obviously, with a bunch of kids, there's always someone that's missing something. I have one kid missing a dresser. I have another kid that only has a single bed. She's been wanting a double bed for a long time. And Scott's mother-in-law had all of that. So for him, I'm just helping him get rid of the stuff, taking it out of the apartment, because he would have had to pay someone else to get rid of it. And I'm just happy to help, for one. And it's also given me a bunch of stuff. I still have a love seat, the mattress, obviously, and the bed, and the dresser in my dad's garage, because by the time we were done yesterday, it was around 9:30 by the time we got home. The van was loaded. Good morning, Joe and Sue off Grid Homestead. Long time no see. And when I say the van was loaded, like it was really, really, really full, to the point where I don't think we could have fit an extra person, even if we put that extra person on the top of all the furniture. So when we got home, I figured I was going to leave the stuff in the van, except for the cooler. There was a bunch of things in the freezer that I ended up with. Now, why isn't it saving? Okay. So, and obviously, that being said, when I got home, I needed to bring the stuff from the freezer inside. Well, I did. Well, the kids did. There was a few ottoman, there was a few coffee mugs, things like that. A few bread that she had frozen. Bunch of bottles of water. I mean, I am very thankful because it was really a lot of stuff. Good morning, Tiffany. On the little sadder part, Tuesday, our cat left the house like every other day. The cat leaves the house around supper time, usually hunts all night, and the next morning he comes back. When we put the dog outside, he comes back in and goes for a sleep. Wednesday, he did not come in, although we saw him Wednesday night. When Mano and I left to go blueberry picking, he came near us. He didn't want to go inside. It was kind of weird, though. Like, he usually would come in. If he's around, he would come in. So I'm thinking that maybe someone else is feeding him, and he was already fed, so he didn't care about coming in. Thursday morning, we didn't see him, although there was a mouse behind my Jeep, and we know it wasn't there the day before because it was a big one and it was obvious to see. So I'm thinking the cat came again during the night. That was Thursday morning, the last thing we heard or seen or anything at all from him. The kids are sad, and I keep opening the door hoping that he'll be there, but he haven't been seen since. So I don't know if it was just a coincidence that it just didn't want to come in. Maybe he knew he had something and he wanted to go die in peace. Animals will often do that. We've had the tip of a hurricane Friday and Saturday, so if he was around, he would have come inside. He doesn't like the rain. Maybe someone took him in. Maybe someone found him. There's a lot of bad people around. He had his collar, and my phone number was on it. So if someone did, they purposely did not want him to go out. So I don't know. I don't know what's I don't know what's happening. I don't know where he is. I'm just hoping that whatever happened, that if he's gone, that he didn't suffer. Good morning, Scott. Ready for tomorrow? Hopefully you'll be able to do all you needed to accomplish by the end of the day today. I'm still trying to save the description. There you go. What's going on? My cat disappeared. My cat left the house Tuesday, like every other evening, left the house. We didn't see him Wednesday morning. because he usually comes in the morning and sleeps during the day. He gets his breakfast and then he'll sleep a little bit. He did not. We've seen him Wednesday evening when we were leaving to go blueberry picking, and he brought us a mouse. Thursday morning there was a mouse in our driveway, but we haven't seen him since. Let me just put the cam off for a sec. So that's what's going on. Good morning, Jennifer. Good morning, Marilan. You didn't miss much other than what I just said. My cat's gone. It's been missing for the last couple of days. It's not like him. The kids are worried. I'm thinking at this point it's either something caught him. Because, I mean, we have bears, we have foxes, we have coyotes. Maybe he went too close to another dog. If he went too close to someone else, we have some bad people around here. Maybe I'm just hoping, no matter what happens, that he's not suffering. I'm just hoping that he's not out there stuck somewhere, suffering, not being able to get out. It could be. I actually thought about that because often my front neighbors will leave the door open because he's riding a motorcycle, and they're at the camping ground pretty much all summer. I noticed that the door was open early this week, and it's now shut down. Although if he was in there, he'd be dead by now. No food, no water for like 5 days. I should send him a message just to check. I hope he's okay as well. As long as he's not suffering, that's all that really matters at this point. The kids are very disappointed. But I mean, it's a cat. He belongs outside. There's not much more we can do. We gave him love while he was here, and you could see that he was spoiled and he was happy because, I left for a few days to go to the Eastern Ontario Homesteaders Conference, and when I got home, he literally slept on me like he missed me. The kids cuddle him all the time, and he really enjoys it. He even comes and cuddle on us, like cats do. He sleeps with my daughter most of the time. He enjoyed it. He plays with them, like he has a few toys he'll play around with. He's had a surgery, so if he's in heat, if there was a female in heat, I mean, I don't think it would hang around too much, although it's still possible. He usually hangs out with one of my son's friends' cat, so maybe we should send him a call. Yeah, that's possible. But when he was inside the house, and at first when he was younger, we wouldn't allow him to go outside. He would always hang out around the windows, and I drive by a few times a day, looking at the windows of all the different houses, just to see if I wouldn't get a glimpse of him somewhere. I mean, not spying, but just quickly looking, And I haven't seen him. I drove around a little bit. Nothing. Hey, Chris and Steph, or one or the other, probably both there. It's been a long time. How's it going? I need to get you in an interview next Friday. Clear your schedule. Say yes. And it'll give you a break, and it'll give me some time to chat with you guys. It's been so long. Slew to get out to do chores this morning. A rare occurrence lately. Yeah, it's that time of year, right? I'm actually on vacation for a week. I was late on my own Sunday morning live stream. This should not be long. I have to go feed the animals. I have to start canning. I have to go get the trailer in my dad's garage while Anthony's still here to help me bring the stuff inside. So it's not going to be a very, very, very long live stream. Very well, just busy and trying to get some time in the cottage this summer. Oh, so you have a cottage now. Awesome. Woke up at 4 a.m. It was so muggy I had to turn the AC in my room. I didn't notice. I woke up around 6:30 and just fell right back asleep, like a hammer hit me or something. I don't even like. I put something on TV last night. I think it was a movie. I have no idea. We have a smart TV, so usually I'll put like some a movie on Plex or Disney Plus, something like that. I think we have Amazon Plus, Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime. We might have Crave. I don't know. Girlfriend has a lot of stuff. She's subscribed to a lot of things. And our smart TV is not working well. And we know it's the TV because it's the only one in the house that does that. I can be watching a movie. It'll kick us out. Load, and we go upstairs, and it's working fine. So we know it's not servers or anything like that. I just want to try to plug it in the network with the network cable directly to see if it might be only the Wi-Fi sensors that are off. If that's not working, might always try to get one of those Fire Sticks. They're quite cheap. I mean, all I would really need to do is open my old PlayStation. From what the guy was telling me, according to the symptoms of my PlayStation, it would be a hard drive issue. So I just need to change the hard drive. And I have the booting drive here for a PlayStation. So I'll be able to fix it. It's just a matter of taking time to do it. Canning season is definitely ramping up here too. Steph's family cottage is an hour away. Nice. So we get to go fish and relax, but still drive home for the animals. That's awesome. That's probably one of the best setup you can have. Because, I mean, let's face it, the garden pretty much takes care of itself. As long as you can go, you drive an hour home, so you need to go once a day, or you can feed them in a way that you only have to go like every second or third day. Smart TVs are never smart. Yeah. Although I like the fact that I can turn on the TV and basically have access to my own library, my own personal library, it's pretty awesome. We find ours often just does its own thing. We can be in the middle of watching someone's video and it goes commercial and comes back on a different video. Really? That's weird. That's really weird. I'm searching for a simple way to put a door to the chickens. No need to open and close at certain hours, but the door is not accessible by hand without going in. Did you get crazy rain from the hurricane? We got 3.5 inches in 24 hours, which is a lot when it was already saturated. Okay, first, Marilyn, I think on Mapul Express, Chicken Express, there are some systems there. Not sure how much they cost, though. And Hickory, I will call you Hickory because I don't know if it's Chris, Ann, or Steph. We got a lot of rain, but it wasn't that bad. Um, we were expecting tons of rain, a lot of wind. We've had some wind yesterday, although it seemed like the wind was higher. Like we could see the trees moving a lot. We could hear the wind, but when I got outside, like the wind was not hitting me. It's like the wind was like 10 feet high. And for the rain, well, I didn't see any puddles of water on my property anywhere. So there was not enough rain. I drove a little bit around and I didn't see any like rivers being overflown. Usually when we have a lot of rain, the rivers and brooks and streams around here will be like brown water and very, very high current, but it was not that at all. Okay, so both as usual. No, so we didn't get what we were expecting. I'm glad we didn't get floodings like they got in Montreal. But we need rain. We need rain bad. Usually, mid-July, we've had enough rain to find mushrooms. This year, nada. I went yesterday. I went try to find some chanterelles, and I found maybe like half a dozen the size of my thumb. They're supposed to get like, big mushrooms. I found some other, what's it called? Bolete Licenum. I knew they were in the bolete family. I wasn't sure what they were. So I figured I'll bring them home and try to identify them. Send a picture to my teacher. Because when you try to identify a mushroom, you need to have a picture of the under of the cap, the top, the side. You need pictures of the stem. Sometimes the smell might mean that it's a different mushroom. Sometimes you might need to cut them in half. Sometimes the spore might mean that it's a different mushroom, because you could have two completely identical mushrooms. One of them will kill you and one of them is edible. And the only way to find out is that by taking them in your hand, tapping on the cap, and look at the color of the spores. These are a little bit more extreme. But the one I had yesterday, I was able to look it up online and find exactly what it was. And then I confirmed with my teacher that it was in fact that mushroom. And I asked her how to cook it. So I knew for a fact that it was good. And I mean, there's only a handful of poisonous mushrooms in New Brunswick. The worst would be the destroying angel. That one's white. So usually when I see a white mushroom, I tend to stay away from it unless it's a puffball. The puffballs could also be mistaken if it was a destroying angel, but once you cut them in half, they're obvious. So I'm not afraid of them. But we need rain. Yeah, most of it missed us. We could see at some point the clouds being on the Quebec side. So the Gaspesia probably got the worst of it. Good morning, Darren. How's it going? You're probably busy with all the canning and harvesting and preserving as well, right? Like I'm so busy harvesting and other things that I don't even have time to properly film my Every Bit Counts challenge. We keep saying every year that we are going to look for mushrooms on the property, but we never get to it. 5 years here and there are still parts of the property that we have never gone to. You're a biologist or whatever, like you're an encyclopedia. So I'm going to ask by knowing the answer is probably yes. But have you do you know anything about mushrooms at all? Like, you feel comfortable finding some, or you just want to go and see what's there and try to identify them yourselves? We've seen lots of mushrooms, but we don't eat mushrooms. I didn't use to eat, I don't use to, like, okay, let me start over. My brain is still sleeping. I'll take a sip of coffee before I say my sentence. That's the kind of thing I would say in French and still screw it up. So it's not because it was English. I used to not like mushrooms. I didn't want to have anything to do with mushrooms. But the mushrooms you get at the grocery store, they're like soggy, and the texture is not that good. Plus, you buy them, either they go in the fridge or they've been canned and they're cold, and I don't like cold mushrooms. But if I gave you some chanterelles, you probably would like them. The way that they're cooked too makes a huge difference. What I do, for example, Darren, if I find puffballs, I slice them up, dehydrate them, then I put them in my coffee grinder. It makes like a nice fine powder, and I will use that and put it in my gravy. If I do a roast, if you had a cow roast or moose roast, anything like that, you just make regular gravy to put on it. But I put the puffball mushrooms powder in the gravy. It just makes it a little bit thicker, and it gives it a little taste. It's like a gamey taste on gamey meat, I guess. But it's not something that people would notice unless I told them. Today I can pick my first harvest, one red cherry tomato, one at a time. Once it starts, usually you're good to go. Like, you'll get one today, maybe one in a few days, and then it'll be like 3 or 4 times a week, and then it'll be like 10 tomatoes a day for 3 or 4 days, and then it's like boom, 5 pounds a day for like 3 weeks. A little bit, but we tend to stick to the easy to ID type, as I am not an expert on it by any means. Yeah. We are eager for our wine caps to start producing. I didn't have any success with my oysters, because I bought a box of oysters, but then again, I have them in the plastic bag. What I need to do is simply put them in the shade somewhere. What I should actually do is cut down a few spruces that I have behind my property, put them on the ground, and put all the wood chips between them in a way that they would not, the wind would not blow them away, and make sure they receive a lot of water because they're not wet enough. But the ones that are easy to ID, you have the chanterelles. They're pretty easy. Those, you'll see them in clusters. I have a video from last year. I pretty much explain what to look for. And, I mean, unlike you, I'm very easy to reach, especially on Messenger. If you see something that you're not sure what it is and you need confirmation, you can always send me a message. Always looking for 3 different pictures under the cap, the stem, and the cap. Like, if you take one picture from the side, one picture from underneath, and one picture from like the top, and then just let me know if it was alone or in a cluster. And the trees where it was found usually determines a lot too. Like, it can help narrow down the species. And if I don't know, my teacher is just a few clicks away, and I knew she was an expert. I've had her on my live stream a couple of times. She's actually the name listed for the whole province and, well, the world, actually. She's a specialist throughout the world. If someone was to eat a mushroom and not know what it was, or they would go to the hospital, she's the one the hospital would call in the province. And she's part of the whole team that would work on resolving the issue, trying to find out how to get the toxicity out if there was, or, um, one of my colleagues a couple of weeks back sends me a message saying, "Hey, my daughter ate some mushrooms. She was on playing on the lawn, and suddenly I realized that she was eating the mushrooms growing on the lawn. And she had one mushroom in her hand, and she was literally eating it. By the time she got there, it was too late. So she took a picture of the mushroom that was next to her. Obviously, that's one of those she was eating. Took her to the hospital right away. Sends me a picture asking me to ID that mushroom. I didn't know what it was. I sent the picture to Jessica, saying, "Hey, little 3-year-old kid was eating one of those. Is it safe? What does she have to do?" And turns out that first thing she said was, "I am pretty sure that this is not toxic, but with just that one picture, it's hard to confirm 100%. But let me check to make sure that it's not something else that could be growing there." And after much research, we found out that it was safe. Not something you would eat because it doesn't really taste anything. It was just something that she might have a mild stomach issue, but nothing. She wouldn't die. She wasn't going to get sick from it. Just maybe a little like cramp for a few minutes, and it'd be gone. But my colleague was already in the hospital by the time I replied, and she was like worried. I'm like, okay, well, when she saw my message, she's like, "Oh, okay, I'm safe." She was at the hospital telling them, "I had the information from the women you're about to call." Yeah, definitely. Really, I've had a few ripe tomatoes, but in my defense, when I bought the plant from the nursery, because I planted a lot of them, but I didn't. Not all of what I wanted to plant ended up sprouting and growing. um, so I ended up having to buy a few plants. Plus, there's always a few things that don't grow, and you're just like, okay, well, it's too late to start anything from seeds at this point. I'm just going to go to the nursery and buy a few plants to fill up the space. And the tomato plants I had actually already had tomatoes on them. So I ended up having a few tomatoes. We also ended up with a free plant of those candy tomatoes. They're about the size of a blueberry, maybe like a big blueberry. And there was already a lot of them that were red. My daughter eats them like candy. I also harvested about four or five Roma tomatoes already. We are overloaded with cucumbers, but still waiting for everything else. Yeah, well, I'm pretty much at that point, Darren. I keep saying it. I have to go harvest my radish pods. I am not sure how to preserve them. If I look in the ball book, there's nothing about preserving radish pods. So I don't know. I don't know what to do with them. I know you can probably blanch them, freeze them, and eat them later in a stir fry. But I have the radish pods to harvest. I've had some peas. The kids been eating peas for a couple of days, a couple of weeks ago. There are still a few ones popping up. But I'm thinking the birds go after them. I see all those birds in my garden, and they all have holes. When I find the peas, they all have holes in them. I've been harvesting lettuce. A lot of my herbs would be ready to harvest as well. Um, Echinacea. I have some echinacea on the dehydrator right now. Those make good tea. They don't have a lot of taste, but the stem, leaves, flowers, everything is actually edible and is very good for the immune system. So we like to drink that in the tea. We've also harvested zucchinis and squash, like a lot of zucchinis, and a different type of squash this year. But the squash are easy. I can just cut them and freeze them. It's just a matter of doing it. What else? Beans. I've harvested some beans. I didn't plant as much as last year because last year I was overwhelmed by beans. And I'm not going to have as much carrots as usual. Although my girlfriend's cousin said that he has too much and he's willing to give me some. And I mean, we can always barter at the end of the season. I'll give him something he doesn't have. Like a jar of pickled zucchinis, and then let me harvest a few carrots and things like that. Hey, that's awesome. It's been a while since I was actually late on the chat. I am just like 9 minutes away, but still. There's nothing like those first couple of fresh tomatoes. Then there's a week of solid straight tomato sandwiches, and then wishing they would just slow down. I've never had that happen because worst comes to worst, I will just freeze them as whole, and then we'll make spaghetti sauce or salsa or anything like that. And we can use them even if they're frozen. We have 2 tomatoes from the Survival Seeds collab almost ready to pick, and a ton of peppers, but they refuse to turn yellow. I was telling Jennifer, like, I have no idea what the San Marzano tomatoes would look like. She had a plant she showed me, but then my tomato plants are just like a huge jungle, and I have no idea about the peppers that are growing. I know I have some red night peppers. Those are getting big. They will turn red eventually. But the other ones, the other plants, I have no idea. So it could be the giant slim peppers that Marilyn sent me, or they could be the pepperoncini peppers that I got for the Survival Seeds. Beets, I have a couple of beets growing. They won't get big. I'm thinking my soil has a little bit too much nitrogen. And squash, butternut squash, I saw them the other day. They're actually growing. I'm starting to see some tiny balls of squash. The pole beans, I have them on Sarah's property. Sorry, because that's the only place I had left to plant them. They're getting big, although I haven't seen any beans on them yet. And what else was in the Survival Seed Challenge? Beets, onions. The onions, the Walla Walla onions, I might have some, but I don't think they made it. I don't think they survived. They're a lot harder to grow. For some reason, whenever I start onions from seeds, if I leave them outside, the next year the bulb doesn't grow. It just like explodes with the green stalk and goes into seeds almost right away. I should go see if we have a wine cap burst after that rain. That's a mushroom I've never actually tried, because that's the one that we will often find at the grocery store, right? But that's one of those that I don't really eat as much. Well, I don't eat them. My girlfriend would love to have them. We were making chicken bruschetta yesterday, and I didn't have any peppers. We had some onions. We had the chicken, obviously. We put some zucchinis and put everything on the barbecue. It was good, although we didn't really have mushrooms. I see a lot of green tomatoes growing. I have about 30 plants. That's awesome. Yeah, you have a lot in those buckets. Next year, I'm hoping to get 100 plants at least and can everything possible for 1-2 years. That's the way to go. And squash finally has fruit. Yeah, same here. Awesome. Yeah, whenever. I mean, I don't have all the answers, but sometimes even if I don't have them, I know where to look for them. I've been harvesting a lot of wild stuff as I see it. My non's cousin yesterday sent me a message about if I knew where she could find wild blueberries. And I mean, it's family, so of course I told her. And she asked me if I knew where someone could find mullein. There's 2 different places where I can find mullein in the wild. Well, in the wild, I mean, not grown here. The street parallel to this one, there's a few mullein plants in the ditch. I doubt that someone would be planting that there on purpose, so I don't see why I couldn't just go and grab them. There's no sewers or anything. I mean, it's just there to let the water flow, and it's kind of a top of a hill, so the water never really gets high, so the plants would be safe to eat or to harvest, I should say. And then there's a place on my way to Kristen, the one that I had on my live stream a couple of years back, one of Marilyn's friend. On my way there, next to the river, there's a field that's full of mullein. And I already have some mullein leaves from last year still left that were dehydrated. I want to make those ear drops, but I can't find the recipe, and I just don't have time to stop and actually do it. Maybe today I will sit down at some point and watch the video from start to finish. I have it in my save list, and I've had it there for like 2 years because I have some mullein growing here. I have 2 mullein plants that grew by themselves behind the property, and in one of my small raised bed, well, not raised bed, but little garden bed that I made out of that plastic barrel. I just cut the barrel in 3 different parts, so it's giving me like, small beds about this size. I put some asparagus in 2 of them, and they're doing great. Obviously, I put all rabbit manure, old chicken manure, a little bit of soil, mixed everything up together, and they're doing great. I could also, the third one was also mullein, and I have 1 daylily there. Although I think the daylily, it can spread a little bit, and it gets quite big. So I'm trying to find out a way that I could put them somewhere else on my property and leave that little bed for something else. I wish I could put asparagus in there. If I could, that'd be awesome. Because I have 3 daylily plants. And I just don't know where to put them. Our squash were slow to grow this year too. The ones on Sarah's property, they're growing, but they're growing very slow. But it could be the type of soil he has. The ones I have here, I don't think I have squash here. I might just have zucchinis here. And they're doing great. I mean, I've already harvested about 20, 25 zucchinis here on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plants max. It's 4 or 5 plants. At the community garden, I have maybe like 10 plants there, mixed between pumpkins, zucchinis, and a few different type of squash. I think I ended up with maybe like 3 plants of the dark green zucchinis, 2 plants of the striped zucchinis, 1 plant of the yellow zucchinis. I have 1 or 2 plant of this squash here, delicata squash. Those are pretty cool. The ones I got were yellow. I have 2 pumpkins and one or two. It's hard to say because it's spreading. That I'm pretty sure is the one from the survival seeds. I walked to my vacant lot the other day to see if it was easy to get to my hazelnuts. Found a ton of 6-foot tall bush trees loaded with red things. I assume cho cherries, but could be anything. If they're in a bunch, it's probably cho cherries. What I saw on your property was cho cherries. I rarely have red tomato ready to can before the frost, but I pick them all, put them in a bin, and freeze them as soon as they are turning red. We can in October. Yeah, October is a busy month for me as well. Well, usually end of September until the end of November is where I am the most busy, because end of September is usually when I go moose hunting. Plus, it's the last couple of days of gardening. And it's not just to harvest everything that's left to harvest. It's about getting the garden ready for next year. I find that the good amount of plant here is around 60. 60 tomato plants? I am far from that. I need to up my game a little bit. By doing what I'm doing now, I will be able to put more permanent trellis for my tomatoes at some point. I will be able to start them a little bit earlier. And hopefully, actually, I might be able to do something with plastic tarps around here to keep the tarp, like maybe figure something out with tarps to have them on top of my trellis and just make like a teepee with them kind of on top of my tomatoes. That'd be good in the spring if there's a case of a chance of frost. I made the mistake to put your San Marzano just beside our asparagus bed. I will maybe have 2 tomatoes. The plant is not thriving at all. It happens, Marilyn. We did 60 this year, about half what we usually do. And I am feeling nervous that I should have done more. It feels like I won't have enough for canning. All in my head, I know. We never can tomatoes just straight up. What we have, we will freeze until we're ready to use them. And all we do is either salsa or spaghetti sauce. Well, not true. Sometimes Manon will use them to make soup. But she'll take whatever's frozen, just like frozen tomatoes as a whole. That's a great idea. I have them all in 5-gallon buckets, so I think I'm going to wheel them all in the greenhouse before the first frost to help extend the season. Exactly. If you have a way to bring them in the greenhouse, you would win at least a good 2-3 weeks of growing season. My Roma tomatoes are just starting to turn red. I have a few that are starting to turn yellow, but that's about it, except for the ones that I harvested from the plant that was already way advanced. We are eating the stupized tomatoes right now. They are the earliest to be ready. Nice. It's almost done. How's all the work going? Yeah. You have me, you're listening while working. You got the greenhouse finished, Jennifer? Awesome. Yeah, it's not 100% finished, but it's workable. She can use it. Covering it with plastic. I just have one part along the back to do, so it will be good enough till I get tough text. Yeah, that's something I would love to have, but at $60-$70 a sheet, it's kind of very expensive. Although I would love to have a greenhouse, like a real one, sturdy, tough, strong one. Um, I just have to take my tempo and fix it. I have the lumber here to do it. I just have to do it. Maybe I'll get lucky this week and have some time. Yeah, right. And be able to do it. Hey, I'm 14 minutes behind. You guys keep talking. It's good. It's easy for me to get some watch time. I need some watch time. Our beans grew like mad this year, but the plus is we can just let them go for dried beans. Harvested so many pounds this year. Awesome. I didn't get much. I ended up with about, I think it was around 60 pounds last year. Although the plants I only have like 4 plants here that grew because the birds keep eating the seeds as soon as I put them in the ground. I ended up with 4 plants. The plants are full of beans. I get over a pound per plant. That's crazy. Problem is, as soon as I touch the plant, it breaks. So I don't know what's wrong. I don't know if it's because the soil is too compact. Maybe that's something I will need to figure it out because I put the tarp on top and just made a few holes where I put the plants. I find it a lot easier to manage the weeds. It's incredibly easier. There's going to be a little issue of having to put something on top of it to keep it there. Yeah, you're not helping, Marilyn. I know. I need another freezer. I want to freeze a bunch this year, so it's canning or nothing. Okay. I have 4, and I'm pretty good. The pepperoncinis pepper look like this. Okay, I think I might have some red lipstick peppers as well. Plus, I have a few ones at the community garden that I bought that were banana peppers, I think. They look something like this too. They are slim, not like bell. Yeah, okay. A 5th freezer. Sorry, hello, Amanda. Thank you so much for stopping by. I skipped your name. Sorry about that. Yeah, everyone's been busy, and I'm so late on everyone's video. I will catch up at some point in the winter, although I still have some videos to catch up from 2 years ago. But I put them in my watch list. If I don't have time, I see the notification. I put them in my watch later list, and you will get the watch time at least at some point. My dang peppers won't turn colors. They're getting too big for the plants. That sucks, but Darren will be staying in Drummondville Tuesday. I don't know if Darren's still there. City in Quebec. Let me see how far you are from them. It is, I'm guessing, about an hour and a half from Darren. Let's see what it says here. Directions. Drummondville, Quebec. Oh, it's 2 hours. You would pass there. It'd be on your way there, though, Scott. Oh, no, where's that? Really? The cayenne peppers are doing great? What do you mean we bought? The cayenne pepper you bought. I didn't buy cayenne pepper. I froze a lot of milk this year and it is taking up valuable real estate. Well, if you had friends over next year, I'm pretty sure they'd be happy to try. True. Good for the most part. Little man broke his leg just before summer, slowed us down, soon hitting the road to head west. That sucks for the leg. The mugwort, let me just put that in my brain. The mugwort, I know I do. I know I have it here, and I know there's a lot of things you can do with it. I would use it in a tea because it has a lot of healthy properties, relieving stress, boosting energy, improving sleep. I just don't know how much you can take. I mean, it's not something I would drink in a tea like every day, 3 to 4 times a day, but it's something that you could drink like once every few days and you'll be fine. Sorry guys, not ignoring anyone, packing up and listening. I'm rushing so I can fish tomorrow. Yeah. Do you want to go just for the boat ride after supper, Scott? Or you want to go like do an afternoon thing and we can go fish at the beach and then come back for supper? And I'll have to check. My budget is very limited, but I mean, if we can figure something out. I don't mind going fishing for part of the day and just go next to the beach, sit there and relax. We dried some leaves and some flowers this year to make tincture, but haven't got to that yet either. I think this is a common problem with is all. Yeah. About 45 minutes to go to the packing. Awesome. The dilly cut are really tasty, but we didn't keep growing them as they cross with our summer squash. And you know us. Yeah, I don't mind a cross pollination as long as I have seeds here. I know we should always be prepared in case something happens. Not going down that rabbit hole, but just saying that, if the seed company decides to shut their door, or if there's a back order of them, or if we have a bad year and it doesn't produce enough, I always have at least 2 years worth of seeds on hand. If it happens at some point where they don't grow, it will give me 2 years to harvest as much seed as possible. All right, take care, Chris and Steph. I see that you're leaving. Thank you for stopping by. We need to catch up. Good morning, Dave. Finally under 30 Celsius. Oh, I'm catching up. Only 9 minutes behind. We go through a lot of tomatoes as we make ketchup, barbecue sauce, curry, tomato juice, and such. It is amazing how many pounds we go through, usually around 700 pounds a year. That is insane. I should look into buying some fresh vegetables from around here. I know a lot of people that grow vegetables only to sell them, which I'll never understand. I would understand if they had too much, but I would not sell them if I have family members that wants to have some. So I know a guy that has this huge land. The garden is not taking the whole land yet. I think it's one of his plan on the long term. His father used to have a potato field and he would provide potatoes for pretty much all the businesses around here. If you would go to a takeout restaurant, it'd be his own made fries, like from his own potatoes. But now he's growing like carrots, beets, a few zucchinis. But he'll have zucchinis, about this big. My zucchinis are this big. I know that's what some people like, but I find if you are to put zucchinis in the ground, wait an extra day and get them double size. But he does have beautiful carrots. He does everything organic. I know because I've seen him do the work, and that's one of the reasons why he wants to do it. But then he goes at the farmer's market, which is pretty awesome because he's allowing people to eat better food. But if you can't do that all year round, it's kind of pointless. I mean, if you have one lunch of nice carrots and 364 days where you eat some stuff with, chemicals and stuff, it's not making a difference. Wow, that's crazy. $110 for a plastic sheet. That's crazy. We are in the same dilemma, Jennifer. We have had two 10 by 20 carports sitting in the yard for 2 years now, waiting for us to buy the hard plastic for them. We are debating getting the cover, but not sure. I have just like regular plastic tarp, and I just need to build something with wood around it to make it solid and make sure whatever happens, it doesn't break. So I don't know what cayenne peppers you're talking about. Well, you were there, I bought, you saw. Okay, well, my brain, I have no memory. And it's really getting to feel like it's a problem. I forget things often, way more often than I used to. For me, lots of free plastic here. The greenhouse farms change 300-foot piece. Awesome. But we can't procrastinate no longer. Chores and well, how come it does that? For some reason, StreamYard, once I clicked, it hides the message. So I have to go and look to this on screen there to try to see what's written. That's why I was playing with it a little bit. We can procrastinate no longer. Chores and garden wait. And blackberry picking. Awesome. One of the least favorite things to do. Well, you don't have to do it. You can just leave them there for the birds. Which is not the whole point of it, but can we do hot dogs by the ocean? I'll buy. You don't need to buy hot dogs. Honestly, I have wieners here for like a year. With what you gave me, with what Jennifer gave me, and with what we already had here, I can bring hot dogs. And yeah, we can make a little fire. I have a nice place, quiet place we can go, and I'm allowed to go, no problem. I know the guy that owns the land right next to it. He told me as long as I don't make a mess and I don't leave garbage, and I mean, he doesn't want me obviously to go there and make a huge party with 100 people. But I know them, nice folks, and we can go there and sit there and make a little fire. I think the tides are high around 9:30 or 10 p.m. So if we go in the afternoon, it would be low tides. I don't think we would catch much, but still, we can go there around 3. Like I said, we won't catch anything. Let me think. Let me think if there's any way that we can, like if I could find a place where we could go fish, that low tides would not matter. Okay, so we can do both, definitely. Oh, see, I caught up, Marilyn. Well, then you guys just stopped talking too. 3 minutes without a single message? I use hard plastic for the roof for my greenhouse, soft plastic around. Yeah, but even the hard plastic is very expensive. So I'm thinking what I can do is make like a regular roofing and put strapping at like every feet or something for mine, anyway, for my greenhouse. And by doing so, the heat and the sun would still get in, and it would stay a little bit more solid. You have to build for your area. My greenhouse has survived ice storms and tornado. So it has to survive hurricanes. It has to survive 10 feet of snow. It has to survive 100 kilometers per hour wind. Anyone here wants to come help me build a decent greenhouse? All right, well, it's been fun. It's been a lot longer than I was expecting. You guys have been awesome. Yeah, the heavy wet snow, that's the worst for the greenhouse here as well. Thank you everyone for being here. I will go because I have a lot of stuff to do. I have to go get the rest of the stuff that I got yesterday. I left the trailer at my dad's because it was just too much for us to do in one day. And I also have to go feed the animals and do some more preserving. And yeah, 10 feet of snow is something that's very common here. We often get more than that, although last year was like an awesome week. We've only had about 1 foot of snow until March 25th, and then we ended up with like 5 or 6 storms in a row. But we'll take winters like that at any time. Have a great week. Have a great day. I'm on vacation for a week. Tuesday, I might do a little something depending on the way it's going. It's my daughter's pageant. So maybe I'll be able to live stream a little bit once I'm there, although I might not be able to talk much. But when they're announcing the winners and stuff, maybe I can just, I don't know. I don't know if I'm allowed to. I will film definitely if my daughter wins. And I will put it up right after like I did last time for members only. And I will talk about it for sure. So Miss Rem's Family Farm, 2 years ago, my daughter Claudie won. And this year, I mean, they're kids. They're all good. Am I saying my daughter's the best? No, I don't know. She has a little bit more experience because she's had a pageant before. And she's the only one there with experience. So we're hoping that it helps a little bit. We see a few things. We hear a few things from the parents. And she has a chance. I'm not saying she'll win, but she has a chance. So let's cross our fingers and let's just hope that she does her best and enjoys herself. She'll be there all day Tuesday, I think. They're doing like a bunch of stuff and being evaluated on a bunch of things during the day, like friendship and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. Okay, enjoy your vacation. Thank you. I have to go watch drag racing. Awesome. Yeah, true. Tomorrow we'll have a live stream on both of our cell phones, probably. So we'll be live at the same time, sharing watch time. And yeah, anyone's welcome to come and join. Scott has the paid version of StreamYard, I think, so he will start, and I can just share on my channel after if something needs to happen. He can talk a lot more than me. Let's just put it this way. He can do a live stream 3 or 4 hours easily. I struggle to reach an hour sometimes. But when you're talking with someone else about all kind of stuff, it's different. Plus, just being there at the beach, relaxing, that's also awesome. And I'm sure we might not be able to live stream while on the boat, but I'm sure we will do a video about that, and you'll be able to see 2 different videos about that fishing experience. I don't know. Before you go, Scott, I'm just curious to see to ask. Well, is this going to be your first experience on seawater other than on your cruise? Like just going on a fishing trip? Is that going to be your first experience fishing on at sea? So you do have the paid version. That's what I thought. So we'll have to figure out something. All right. Take care, everyone. Thanks for watching. Don't hesitate to like, share my videos, promote me if you want, if you can. No, we won't lose the keys. We don't have a young kid on board, and the owner of that boat is different owner. So yeah, all different ways you can help me. It's not going to be your first time. Okay. Right.